Morning everyone. I got cut off on the last video. I was just going to say about that old soldier Tom, and what a good thing, what uplifting thing, isn't it, that doing that, collecting all that money for NHS, brilliant that. That's what I say. If some of you watched that video, you see I said in one of the videos, I sometimes put that song out, I vow to thee my country. It's uplifting, you see all old soldiers and that. I wish schools had put more on about, old soldiers and that. More respect for them and old people. I wish old Tom worked for Wakefield Council. I mean, can you imagine, all soldiers, what they did in World Wars and that, fighting for a better country and that, And then you've got people, in my own council and that, doing that to a fellow human being, what they've done to me and people who work for me. Isn't it bad, eh? People did fight world wars for people to be so disrespectful and what have you. But I'm just going to talk to you a little bit about contracts. I mean, most people, you'll go about your business, you see people working and that for council, and you never have another thought about it. Until, if you watch these videos, you will have another thought about it. But in general, basically what happens with all councils, they use a firm. A website, it's called Your Tender. I don't know if you can see that. I'm going to write that down if you're a contractor or not. But yeah, anyway, it's called Your Tender, and what happens basically is this. All councils, basically, they'll set out a contract, whatever division in council, then it goes to this Your Tender place, and if you're a member of this Your Tender, and anybody can join this Your Tender, anybody can go on it, any contractor. I'd write it down, Your Tender, YORTENDER. So anybody can go on it, and basically contracts will come up then. Council will put it on this website, and all contracts will come up, and you can log into Your Tender, and you see, I'll apply for that. Straightforward. And the reason of that is basically, reason it's done like that, it gives everybody a chance, to have a go at getting some work. It's seen to be fair. Then nobody's pointing finger and accusation saying, how come my mate got this or this got that or he got work. And the main one is it's supposed to get best people at best price for public purse. That's what it's about, getting best for public. Distributing public purse money best they can. And what happens, hold on a minute, let me just get that. So yeah, it goes through that system then. But if you'll watch other videos, there's another system you can go through. And if you watch the one about Agrig, where I tell you about Mike Bartram, you can go through, you can get it done like that. You can take engineers, in Wakefield Council case, you can take engineers for games of golf and eat all day meals at South Milford Chinese. And I mean, if Wakefield Council want to challenge me on that, you want to call me a liar, have a go at calling me a liar. So yeah, so there's that system where, you can get in with somebody at council basically. That's what happened, and I mean, it were a big failure to do that in Agrig case. So then, basically, you'll apply, you'll log on to Your Tender, you'll apply for this contract, it'll go back to council who's dealing with it, in my case, Wakefield, and it's overlooked then, basically, it's basically, yeah, and you'll either get a yeah or a no, but they have the non-transparency, they don't have to tell you. And let me tell you this, there's a lot of your contracts out there, I'll guarantee this, I'll bet some of you have actually won, but you don't get the work, because that's how it works with them. So, and I'll show that anyway. So they overlook the contract, you apply to Your Tender, you fill in a contract, it goes back to local authority, in my case Wakefield Council, they overlook it, yeah, no. And basically what it is, the division you're working under, they do the contract, but then it goes to somebody called Brian Thomas, contracts manager. Oh, again, this Brian Thomas, they do what they want basically. I can tell you that, they do what they want, because while I was working for them, they're supposed to go through this process, like I said, make it fair and everything, but while they got that, that complacent, they were just ringing people. They were ringing fabricators, engineers, they were letting people come through the back door, like I told you about Mike Bartram, a game of golf. and a Chinese meal, people doing spraying for them. There were a variety of people. They got a company from up north to do, you know, groundwork, making. That's what I was doing. They got them, just ringing people up, not going through all process. So any of you out there who's put in for, you know, apply for contracts, it don't work like that with these people. They just ring people when they want, and then they have the loophole where they say, we have a company called Matrix, we can just pluck them out of there, and we don't have to tell you a thing about it, like we did with Mike Bartram, who made a right catastrophic mess of Agrig. So yeah, you've got that then, and they look at it, and it's a yes or no decision, whether you get a contract or not. But what happened with me, because a lot of people have said to me, well, what exactly happened with you then? How come you got lost the contract? And I'm going to tell you now. So, as I said, don't forget, write that down, your tender, if you ever want to, you know, apply for contracts at Wakefield, or any council, all councils go through this portal. But in my case, let me just show you this. And make your own mind up about this with me, right? Make your own mind up. Ask yourself why I'm, you know, got my own personal problems with him. I've been there 15 years, right, doing same work. All these are contracts. All these are from, not actual contracts, but from your tender. Yeah? And they're the actual contracts that come on, and I've won them all. I've won them all, yeah. And do you know why? Because I was so cheap, and, you know, I'm so experienced that after 15 years, you know, you are. So, winning contract after contract, so I'm familiar with everything about them, you know, I fill them in blindfolded, absolutely fill them in blindfolded, and as I say, you win them, and what they do, they'll pluck about 5 or 6 contractors out from and they'll rank you 1 to 6 basically, you know, if you get ranked 1, basically you get lion's share at work, and what would I all the time, well, I had 1 all the time. So contract after contract, I win, you know everything about them inside out, you know, never had a problem, never a problem. I've got a letter, I've got emails showing you where I've been thanked for work. So everything, lovely jubbly. So people said to me, so what happened then? Well, I'll just show you, I'll briefly show you. We got to 2019 contract, but in 2017, I tell them all about this lot. You know about them squandering your money? Even though I didn't know they were doing wrong, I just stopped them, and I stopped them, in 2016, 17, something like that, from using all your money, our taxpayers' money, to furnish us any nice clothes. So I do that, 2 years goes on, and as I said before, that's when they're hatching a plan to say, right, he's done that to us, we'll get him out. We're going to get him out for this. So 2019 contract comes up. And just before the contract comes up, so I've told him all about this ARCO, basically, about him using taxpayers' money. Just before the contract comes up, you wouldn't believe what happened. My phone rings one day, and it's a kid called Nick Forrigue, and they've only let him deal with contracts in their division. And he didn't know he'd pressed my number. I couldn't believe it. And this Nick Forrigue, he's one of these who've been spending at ARCO, and his partner Rebecca Forrigue, she'd been actually spending a lot as well, an extreme amount. So basically, I picked the phone up, hello, no answer, and then this conversation starts taking place in Wakefield Council between Nick Forrigue, whose phone it is, and these engineers who've been, you know, stealing, well, basically stealing public purse and spending your money. So I listen to the conversation, I starts listening, and I'm just going to show you some of what conversation was like. This is how bad the conversation was. Right, just bear with me with this, and this is a phone conversation you're going to get to. This is what I wrote, and then you'll get to number 1 where phone conversation starts. This is what he was saying about me. And this is what he's saying about me. This Nick Fothergill and he's talking to engineers in Wakefield Council, all these who have been abusing taxpayers' money, and he's telling them all this. So I reported it. So now you understand, don't you? Basically, I'm winning contract after contract, and I'll tell you something with public. We were proper value for money, you know what I mean? You know, did a sterling job for public. But yeah, as I say, I stop them doing this at Arco. Then this absolutely vicious phone call, what I overhear, takes place. Lo and behold, contract comes out, I fill it in, and I get a letter back. Sorry, on this occasion you wasn't successful. We couldn't open your documents. So I goes on the computer, boom, 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 all my documents open. Well, we couldn't open them. And you'd think, wouldn't you, it was like saying I was an imbecile or something. You know, somebody who's been there 15 years, knows that contract's backwards, you know, and then they just tell me that. So basically, you understand now why they got rid of me. Because they didn't like it that I'd started, you know, I'd stopped them squandering your taxpayers' money. So that's when it all kicks off then, you know. Everything, I files a complaint about this violent, you know, vicious phone conversation. And I will show you later that it got brushed under carpet. Witnesses, there were witnesses to that phone conversation, one being a woman, and it had a cry in that. But do you know what they did? They brushed it under carpet. Didn't even get back to me about it. Didn't ask to see one of my witnesses, so, and I thought, you know, you're up against it here, they're claiming all this non-transparency and that. And that's what kicked it off then. Somebody from council high up comes to me, who I've been a family friend, and we start talking, and he starts saying to me, they've been getting you to do this and that, he says, and they shouldn't have been. So it all started to make sense. But yeah, in my case, you're 15 years, you know contracts inside out, you had a good relationship up to stopping them spending absolute thousands of your money. A senior engineer called Nick Fothergill starts rallying his troops in there, starts rallying them, all these who pilfered your taxpayers' money. He starts talking to them, you know, starts telling them all these vicious, violent things, horrible, nasty things, what aren't true. And lo and behold, I don't get a contract. They just threw men on scrap heap, people lost their jobs. And they turned round as nice as pie and said, well, we did it all legally. We didn't do anything wrong. This is what they're still in mind. We didn't do anything wrong. I says, let's just say you couldn't open my documents for the sake of it. I says, after 15 years, I said, knowing I was cheapest person in contract, knowing I was best fuck job, would you not have just give me a phone call and said, no, doesn't work like that. I said, what? 15 years, winner of contract after contract after contract, I had such a good name, letters of people in council thanking me for hard work. I says, and you're telling me you wouldn't ring me? No, the council don't operate like that. It's your fault your documents couldn't open. Oh, but they did, and I can show people, you know, I've got filmed it opening. So I hit him with something else, and I says, well, in previous contract, I says, I got a phone call, I says, asking me a couple of extra questions about contract. And they went, what? I said, yeah. They says, no, we don't make phone calls to contractors. I says, well, you did in my case. You know, they asked me, and what it was then, because I'd proved, I said, look, you could have rung me. No. And the reason they didn't ring me, obviously, is because I'd stopped them using that, you know, spending taxpayers' money. And as I said, that's what kicked all this off then. So, you know, we're left with 15 years, you know, people lost their jobs, I lost a business basically, and they just turned around and said, we couldn't open your documents. And that's what they did, as simple as that. And it's like you've no recourse with that. It's like, Where do I go? What do I... And you expect them, when you go to Chief Executive of Wakefield Council, you expect them to say, no, that's wrong. But no, they don't. Because they know then, just by saying they're wrong, they're going to have to pay me some money. But it's all going to Ombudsman, and it's going to go to court. And then anybody who's been watching these films, you'll look and you think, look, it just makes sense why they got rid of you. You basically stopped them squandering taxpayers' money. An engineer then gets all other engineers who's been doing that and turns them against you, basically. Contract comes out, regardless how, if you want cheapest, best, you're never going to win it because we're just going to say we couldn't open your documents. And anybody out there, any person and any, if you put in for contracts at Wakefield and you've lost them, it might not be because you want best or cheapest. It just might be because at the end of the day, it's a human being who looks at them and sometimes they just think, no. And that gives rise then, doesn't it, to say, well, who did you get? And do you know what they did in... I live central in Wakefield, you know, so you're there for emergencies, you know, you're just there all the time, you know everything. Do you know what they did? They got companies from, you know, out to Yorkshire even, out to area. They give companies work, you know, that cost, what I were doing now, it costs taxpayer thousands. It's unreal, but I'm sure in court, and I'm sure with Ombudsman, they'll look and you can just see through it, you know, it's just in your face. And it's like I told you about asking for cash for cameras, even though I didn't know it were on at the time. When I got told about that, when they said, no, they can't do that, these were some underlying things. Get rid of him. Get rid of him. We don't, you know, there's too much going to come out. So, yeah, I lost basically everything. For what? Because they've been doing wrong. And then, yeah, so with contracts, straightforward. If any of you, I mean, don't get me wrong, if any of you want to look that your tender up, just look it up, you'll see for yourself. And you can apply for lots of contracts. But I'd won that one. It was the 2019-21 contract. And I know I'd win. I know for a fact I'd win. They couldn't, it was impossible to say I wouldn't win. I know I want cheapest. I know I want most, you know, best foot job. And then I just didn't expect him to say, we can't open your document. I opened them all right, you know what I mean? I said, don't you mean it's because I've stopped you using our code? Don't you mean it's because of that shocking phone conversation what we overheard? Well, no, it's not to do with that, really. We've done it legal. We don't have to ring you. Yeah, but you run me on another contract. You run me on contract before to ask me some more questions. Oh, well, we'll check whether it was fair or not. And they come back and they went, no, we've done it fairly. How's that fair? How's that? Tell me how that's fair. Stopping them squandering money. But as I say, they do what they want with contracts. That Brian Thomas, who oversees all contracts, that man should be just sacked immediately because he's not fit for purpose. And the question begs this, doesn't it? When they can do something like that to me, it just shows what they can do anyway, doesn't it, with contracts? And when they claim that, oh, we got an engineer through a company called Matrix, an agency, what's that say? They got somebody to come in, oversee a job. We use safety aspects to it. You know, it's health and safety, you know, no qualifications for it really. But basically, if anybody who thinks council work properly are wrong, I can tell you that now. They do what they want. There's probably more contractors out there would have got work but haven't got it because there's human beings in there. I'll tell you what, they pick who they want. It don't come down to the best foot public. And that's what I say. We're all peasants. They're supposed to be doing their best for you. They're supposed to get the best people for best price, and they don't. You've got contractors now that cost 5 times what I charged. And I know it probably to a lot of people think, well, we never think of that, but you want to think of it. You want to understand how these people work. You want to understand engineers getting taken out for games of golf and Chinese meals. Is that fair to all contractors? Is that fair to public? And like I said, Wakey Council can just come at me anytime they want, call me a liar, but they can't do that because it's true. It's true. So my big argument, my personal argument, you've heard me say I've got my own personal things. My personal one is this, basically. I spend all that time, they do that to me, and I'm fighting that, you know what I mean, to say, you've treated me unfairly, you know, not just a bit, mega. But their problem is this, we know we've treated you unfairly, but if we say that, we're going to end up with some, you know, some heavy costs here. And I haven't even said that, I haven't even said out about heavy costs. I've said to them, come to the table and resolve it, but they don't want to do that. They're still spending your money, taxpayers' money, with investigation. And that when it started then, I mean, it went on for a year, all things that have come out, what I've told you about. So yeah, you've got a filthy, disgusting phone call by this Nick Fothergill telling engineers, I can get rid of him, I fucking hate him, you know, all that business. And I thought, well, only reason you've done that is because I've stopped you and your partner using my account to squander taxpayers' money, you twats. So yeah, but can anybody tell me somebody who's 15 years, contract after contract after contract after contract, successful, and then all of a sudden, you're out. You're out. You've said what you shouldn't have said. You've said somebody in there were doing wrong, and Merran McCrae doesn't want that to be told. £3,500 a week, and work-related bonuses, and all this goes on. So, but yeah. So just even for general public who watch this, when you see, you're supposed to all get best thing for your money, you know what I mean? And then, this is what I say why it relates to what Peter Box said. Every pound's under review. Services will be cut. What's it mean, services that will be cut and every pound's under review? What, when they do things like this? They throw contractors under the bus, people's lives under the bus, just to save face, just say, we haven't done that, but they have done that. I mean, that filthy, disgusting phone call, it went to a senior engineer called Graham West, one of the bosses at Highways. He asked me for witnesses. I told him there were 3 witnesses would like to come in and give it, and do you know what he did? He just basically brushed it away, just, you know. He concluded his investigation. He says he spoke to witnesses, he spoke to all people who's been abused taxpayer, never asked to see one of my witnesses, and that was that. I mean, how bad's that? This is what they get up to. And as I said, this is why I say, normal people in court and ombudsman will just look at it, because you know, there's a bit more to it obviously, but in general that's what it is, and they'll look at it and go, what you mean? You haven't done it, you're treating fair. I'd be treating fairly doing all this. Well, no ifs or buts about that, but I'm determined to keep telling everybody out there what goes on, and I've got a lot more to come. Wait till my sons can go around taking some more pictures and videos. You won't believe some of the things. There's still a lot. So yeah, all you contractors out there, I mean, so, I don't know, some might, you know, I mean, that Paul Madison, obviously, who were getting taken out for games of golf and Chinese meals and that, you tell me. That man got a job, that engineer, that Mike Bartram got a job for doing that with him, so I don't know. Maybe take somebody out for a game of golf in a Chinese, you know. But yeah, they definitely, they've come a cropper with me, don't get me wrong, they'll come a cropper, you know. But it will get there. But what a setter, aren't they? You know, what a setter. You won't think your local council we pay the wages and that. You wouldn't think they'd act like that, would you? But they do. Yeah, they do what they want in there. I'm telling you now, they do what they want. Contracts and that, they do what they want with them. I've proved them that. That Brian Thomas, no, this Brian Thomas is supposed to be head of contracts and that. I went to see him on a meeting once, and I sat down and he always said to me, I deal in millions. And I looked at him and I said, trouble is, Brian, they're not their millions. And he's one of them, you know, I'm the big man in here. I'm the big contracts manager. What you are, Brian, I'll tell you what you are, Brian. You're an underhand, conniving, despicable person who ain't fit for purpose in jobby holes. I can tell you that's what you are, Thomas. And I tell you what, people want to have a bigger insight into you, because there's a lot you've let go, and there's a lot I've got upstairs in emails what you've let go. And there's a lot more with contracts, how people have just had a phone call, got a job, and tell me again I'm a liar, tell me nobody has ever had a phone call from land drainage and got work. You dare do it, dare you? Well, you just do it. Yeah, you just, you're a coward, Brian Thomas, you're a coward. Like them, a lot of cowards. That Graham West, do you know, I don't know, his family ought to be ashamed of him, what he did to me and my family. It should be shameful. But anyway, keep watching all the videos, there's a lot more to come. And as I said, put that on, I vow to thee my country. Honestly, it's right uplifting. You know, you see all soldiers singing and that. Really nice, it is. I wonder what a lot of them old soldiers are thinking, that, you know, people doing things like this to the fellow humans. You know, what an awful set of people in that Wakefield Council. But I'll keep plugging away at them. I will get them, don't worry. Don't worry. You've stuck to spending on your Arco and that. Me and Becky and that, it's only a bit of clothing we used to get. I'm going to tell all other engineers to get rid of you. And wait till it comes to contract and that. I'm going to get Brian Thomas to stick up for me and get rid of you. Yeah, you get rid of me. I'm here for good. Good. I'll show you what you've done to me. I can show you. I always have evidence when I come on. I don't come on and go, done this, done that. I come on, I have evidence and I have witnesses. And let me tell you this, when this does get to court, there's 27 witnesses going to court for me. And do you know who's going to have to pay it? And taxpayer. Do you know sadly why? Because Wakefield Council will just keep going. They're not honourable people. They don't care. It's your money. It's not our money. Right. Take care, everybody.